Routers are some of the most versatile tools in the shop, and with the right accessories, you can really unlock their potential. One of the best accessories you can get for your router is a router table. This not only gives you a large flat surface to maneuver your workpiece on, but it also provides a mounting point for a large variety of other accessories, including bit guards, miter gauges, fences, and dustboards. I'm Kevin at Woodcraft, and today we're going to cover the different types of router tables, the components that make up a router table, and some basic router table operation, so stay tuned. First, we have the small boys, coming in with the benchtop router tables. These are great for smaller shops or people with limited workspace. They're fairly portable, so you can store them away when you don't need them, but they still have most of the features of the larger router tables. They tend to have a smaller tabletop and a shorter fence, so maneuvering larger or heavier pieces may be cumbersome, but they're great for tasks like roundovers on your cutting boards, grooves for your boxes, and things like that. Along with the smaller footprint, they also come in at a lower price point. Stepping up, we have the floor standing router tables. These are bigger with a larger table surface and a longer fence. For comparison, the Craig Benchtop router table has a tabletop of 16 by 24 inches, while the Craig floor standing router table has a tabletop of 24 by 32 inches. Now, this means you have more support and a larger work surface for bigger pieces, but that leads to a larger footprint and less portability. Floor standing router tables often have enhanced features over their smaller counterparts. For example, the fence on this Craig Precision router table has a table saw style T-square adjustment system, which keeps the fence parallel to the miter gauge. There are also some options that place a router table setup into one of the wings of your table saw. This is a great space-saving idea, and if you don't work on a lot of large pieces, this takes advantage of what some would consider wasted space. However, this shared workspace means that you may have to clear off anything you have set up when switching between operations. Now let's talk about the different parts that make up a router table. We'll start with the tabletop. These can be made out of high-pressure laminate and MDF, phenolic plywood, and sometimes even cast iron. They're typically CNC machined to accept standard insert plates and have integrated leveling screws for those plates. Some, but not all, even have built-in miter tracks to accept your miter gauge or feather boards to hold your workpiece securely. The insert plates are what you actually attach your router to and then drop into your table. They work with most fixed or plunge-based routers and come either pre-drilled with screw holes for the most popular styles of routers, or blank so you can drill your own holes and attach whichever router you choose. They make it simple to remove your router when it's not in use, or if you're like me and only have one router, when you need to use it handheld. With these, you adjust the height of your bit with your router base like you would normally. This requires reaching under the table and can be a little cumbersome depending on your setup. It may be easier to change bits with the plate removed or with the router motor taken out of its base. Some, but not all, have removable, interchangeable rings that provide support close to your bit while also allowing access to the collet while it's installed in the table. An upgrade from a standard insert plate is a router lift. This takes your router motor out of its standard base and gives it a special home with some additional features. They're still sized like a normal insert plate, so it's really an easy upgrade. The best feature of these, as the lift name implies, is the ability to adjust the bit height from above the table surface, which makes it easier to change bits as well. Some companies even sell router motors specifically for lifts that come without your standard base for a reduced cost. There are various methods to anchor fences to the tabletop, but you want to make sure that it's secure on both the infeed and the outfeed side before you start routing. Most fences include a place to mount a bit guard and dust collection ports, which is possibly one of the biggest draws of a router table because routers tend to be some of the messiest tools in the shop. The fence faces usually slide to adjust for different diameter bits and ensure your workpiece has good support. The nicer fences have rulers and T-tracks for mounting stops, feather boards, stock guides, or auxiliary fences. The stands are pretty basic, being made out of aluminum or steel. A heavier stand leads to less vibration and more stability. They're typically height adjustable and allow for the addition of casters or a mobile base. Some even have frames that would make it easy to build a little enclosure for your router motor or a cabinet for accessories. Up until this point, we've been talking about store-bought router tables, but of course you can always make your own. The same principles apply, and you can make it as basic as you want, or load it up with all the bells and whistles. Woodcraft magazine has an old article about building this router table, and both the article and the plans are available online. It fits a standard lift in the laminate top, but it has lots of storage for bits and accessories. It even has a power switch on the front, making it easy to turn on and off, and great dust collection thanks to the dual dust ports, one on the fence and one on the back of the enclosed cabinet. If I were to build this myself, I'd probably add a miter track, but that would even be an easy retrofit. Woodcraft has a lot of different router tables to choose from, as well as all the bits and pieces you would need to make your own. We have downloadable and paper plans for a few different styles, as well as the T-tracks, miter tracks, accessory power switches, insert plates, and router lifts to go on it. We also have a template to route the perfect size opening for your insert plate or router lift. If you're looking to upgrade your current router table, one of my favorite accessories are the JessEm stock guides. If you haven't seen my in-depth video on this, I'll leave a link down in the description. Now that we've covered what makes a router table, let's talk about how to use one. First, it's still a power tool, so proper PPE should be used when operating it. Bit guards should be used at all times, and when adjusting the router or changing the bit, make sure that your router is unplugged. You never want to trap your workpiece between the bit and the fence. You always want to be working on the front side of the bit. The bit spins counterclockwise, so we will always want to feed from right to left to avoid climb cutting. When adjusting the fence, make sure it's secure before each pass. If your fence moves mid-cut, your workpiece will move and your hands may end up somewhere you don't want them. When using a bit with a bearing and a fence, align the two using a straight edge. When not using a fence, always use a bit with a bearing, and always use a pivot pin to pivot your piece into the bit slowly. When pattern routing, you want to rotate your piece on the front of the table, not around the bit. Same as with the fence, make sure the router base or lift is locked after adjusting the height. And just like normal router operation, if you have to aug out a lot of material, do it in small increments. It'll put less stress on the motor and the bit and result in a cleaner end product. When changing your bit, be careful of the sharp carbide edges. When putting a bit in the router, you want to bottom out the bit and then raise it about 1/16 of an inch. If you liked this demo, be sure to subscribe and click that bell so you get notified when we put out new ones. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Otherwise, for everything you saw in this video or any of your other woodworking needs, head over to your local Woodcraft store or online to woodcraft.com.